Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to our EGU Blab number 12. We're coming to you from a community Facebook group called Entrepreneurs Globally Unite. My name is Michelle Reinhardt, and I'm the host and the founder of the group. I'd like to introduce you to our co-host, Andy Noon.
Hello and good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, good evening. Hello, Andrew and Michelle. Thank you for having us here today, and I'm really looking forward to all the wonderful stuff that Andrew's going to share with us this morning. So yeah, let's get the ball rolling.
So today I'd like to shine the spotlight for the next 30 minutes on one of the extraordinary entrepreneurs in our community, Andrew Baird. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, hello.
Hi, it's lovely to have you with us. Thank you for joining us. I'd just love to share a bit of your bio. It was quite lengthy, so I've cut and pasted. I hope you like it.
Sure, that's fine. Go right ahead. I mean, everyone wants different length bios. Sometimes I have to shrink it, sometimes I have to expand it. Just depends.
Oh, it's just shocking being so popular, isn't it?
I know. It's tough. It is tough. I agree.
Fantastic. All right, so today's topic is to experience exponential business growth. And Andrew is a strategic business coach, international speaker, and best-selling international business author. He's been involved in businesses since 1998, taking him from his home in Auckland through Australia and the US, including Wall Street in New York, where he worked with startups during the dot-com boom, as well as the bust of 2000, growing businesses from nothing to millions in turnover and creating many profitable exits. He loves helping business owners transform what is possible for them. So this is what we have to learn, and we have 30 minutes to do it in. Are you up to the challenge, Andrew?
Oh, we're gonna have to move fast. There can't be any ums, ahs, or pauses. It's just gonna be go, 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 go.
Let's do it. So I'm excited.
That's the spirit.
I'm super excited. Is there anything you'd like to elaborate on before we launch into some questions, Andrew?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm really grateful to be able to share with the EGU. Like, I love the community. I'm active in the group. Really enjoy the people that are in there. So great to be doing a live blab with all of the members.
Fantastic. So Andy, fire away.
The first question is, when did you decide you wanted to be an entrepreneur? And have you always been an entrepreneur, or did you have something like a story first, and then you decided, no, I want to be an entrepreneur, and then go and help others? Where did it start?
So actually, I did always want to be a business owner. So growing up through school, I knew I wanted to own a business at some point. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, so I didn't have like my trajectory or any of that mapped out. My plan was do something at university, go out and work a bit in the industry, because obviously when you're at school, I'm like, I don't really know much about business, don't really know much about the workplace. So my plan was work for maybe 7 years and then start a business off the back of the experience that I got from working. It didn't turn out that way, of course. So I finished. I actually have a degree in Bachelor of Technology, Information Technology, which is a bit of it's a combination between commerce and computer science. So lots of stuff about accounting and finance and legal and as well as databases and computer programming and that sort of stuff. So I've got a very technical background. So I started as a web developer. That's what I used to do. So my first job lasted about 2 years. So we actually went out to all of New Zealand. Like, I actually worked on one of the first online stores in New Zealand. So there was a store called Flying Pig. If anyone was in New Zealand back in the day. So yeah, Flying Pig. So I helped launch the Flying Pig. Unfortunately, the Flying Pig did crash, but it did fly for a while. And I got another job. Lasted 2 years in that job. And what happened in that company was that that was a company that was actually working on Wall Street. So I was working with them on Wall Street with people that were music startups and also, what else do they have, like a lotto startup and all sorts of things, working out of Wall Street in New York. And the dot-com bust happened in 2000. I was actually on Wall Street, so that happened while I was there. And about 2 years later, I got made redundant. So basically, the business declined from there. It took a little bit while for the wave to hit New Zealand, but it did, and I lost my job. And at that point, I wasn't planning on starting a business, but I actually couldn't find a new job. The industry was in recession.
Yeah.
And so I found a contract opportunity and went, right, that's it. I'm going to start my business in the middle of a recession. You know, why not?
And there were no children on the scene then, Andrew, so...
No. So when I started the business, it was I actually got made redundant 6 weeks from when Kim and I were going to get married. So it was literally right before we got married. And obviously she was at uni, she was studying, so I was meant to be paying for the wedding and the house and all that sort of stuff. So I literally started the business when we got married, basically. Let me see, how far was it into that business? It was 4 years into that business before our eldest son, Rylan, turned up. So we had a bit of warm-up where it was both of us working in the business without the distraction of, 2-year-olds causing chaos in the office.
Fantastic. Yeah, so that's divine timing at its best, isn't it? Or worse?
Yeah, it was. Like, I mean, it was the worst thing that happened to me at that time, and it was also the greatest thing that happened to me in the long term. When it happened, it was like, but in the long term, no, it was definitely one of the best things to happen.
Well,
kind of like your trigger, isn't it? Like the one that really kind of went, right, go and do this now.
Exactly. You get pushed off the cliff, and then you've got to work out how to build your wings on the way down.
So, Andrew, the topics today and the things that I know that you are passionate about and help many coaches with are leverage, congruency, as well as pulling that all together from a holistic perspective. So, coach us. Tell us how you managed to do that with 15 minutes.
Sure. Go. Well, I think the first thing that I tend to start with most people is looking at, the vision. What is it that they want to create with the business? And that also ties back into the congruency, because if you're not directing your business to something that you feel passionate about, that you feel positive about, that you think is going to create an impact, then you're not going to be excited about it. You're not going to have a lot of energy. I think the one thing that all of us that have been in business can say, there are knocks, there are setbacks. And so if you're not aligned with it, if it's not congruent with you, then it's going to be very, very challenging. So I like to start with the vision, and specifically because for some people, the vision, take last week, I was talking to a business owner, and her vision right now is simply to increase her income. She doesn't want any leverage right now. She's like, no, I'm not ready for the leverage. She's probably, I would say 60 or 70%, booked out, but she's like, I actually want to fill up a bit more of that, maybe to 80% before I start looking at the leverage. So it starts with the vision of what does the person want to create? And then from there, one of the things that I like to do is to look at what are their natural strengths. Because I think, and I've certainly made this mistake as a coach. I haven't made it too much myself as an individual, and I think one of the things that probably makes me quite unique and quite different is that personally, I'm very flexible. So I can adapt, I can evolve, I can change, and that's something that I've been doing from a very young age. I had a really good friend, Lance, at high school, and we were into, personal development, reading about meditation and spiritual practices and visualizing and all these sorts of things. And so that's enabled me to recreate myself multiple times. But one of the things that I tend to do with business owners is say, right, what are your strengths? Do you love speaking, or are you an introvert? You love writing? Do you love collaborating with people? Do you like working in a team, or do you like working alone by yourself? And I think what a lot of coaches and speakers do as well is they have, kind of like what I call the one path. It's like, the angels sang, and this was the one path to everyone's success. And of course, that's not true. We're each unique. We each have our own unique, what I call a success blueprint, a success fingerprint that says this for you is going to be the best way to create the success, the vision, what it is that you want to create in your business. And from there, you can then delve into, right, what are the strategies that we're going to use, based on your personality type, what you like, what you don't like, and where can we go? Now, having said all of that, of course, there are some things that you do need just full stop. I mean, if you can't make sales in your business, then you're in trouble. And I mean, I'm certain, like I can put my hand up and say I sucked at sales when I started. I was very good technically. I could build you a beautiful website, but do you think I could sell you one? Not a chance. not a hope. And so sales is something that you need. Now, what some people will do when they're starting up is they'll tag team with someone. So they might be very good at marketing. They might have someone else that's very good at sales, and they'll work together. And certainly, actually, when I started as a coach, that was what I did. I partnered. So I had some sales skills, because obviously to partner, you've got to have some sales skills, but I used partnering. So I found, I actually partnered originally with my business mentor. So our original business wasn't a coaching business. It was a website business. We built websites. And when we started the coaching business, I partnered with our original mentor. We used his coaching program, and I actually became his head coach. So he ran events, he would promote, he would sell the coaching, and I would do the coaching. And so there's strategies like that which are really simple. Oh, you're not good at selling, you could partner with someone who is good at selling. Now, the other thing that I'll point out there, which is one of my favorite things, the idea that one is a dangerous number. If you've only got one source of clients or customers, then you're in trouble. In our website business, we went for years and years and years off the back of referrals. And then one day, all of our referrals started drying up. Now, all their clients were happy. It wasn't that anyone was unhappy. It was just that no one in their direct network needed work. And so fortunately, we'd listened to our business mentor. We'd built a database. And so we could start marketing and selling to that database. And it was that experience that led me to go, oh, right, okay, yeah, one is a really dangerous number when you're in business. So I don't know. That's not 15 minutes, but there's a quick 5-minute snapshot of what it looks like.
No. That's really good, and I'm so glad you mentioned that last point, because there's an old saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and it doesn't matter how far we go into technology or whatever it is, those things always hold true, and you got to remember that. And also the other thing that you mentioned is you're very flexible. I really like that point, because that's something I keep in mind as well, because you have to be flexible in business.
The funny thing is, I do know some very successful business owners that are actually not very flexible. In fact, are very inflexible. So I think it helps a lot. It makes your life so much easier because you have more choices.
What habits or mindsets that helped you become successful? Because we're talking about business and success and everything. What are your key habits and mindsets?
I guess the two main mindsets, because obviously there's lots of different things, lots of different mindsets that I use, and there's lots of different. I call them success rituals. Like, that's what we call them with our clients. We say you need success rituals, and you need success rituals that you do every day, and success rituals that you do every week and every month. So that's what we call them with our clients. And in terms of mindset, the two main ones is, number one is consciousness, which I guess sounds a little bit weird, but I'm like, if you're not conscious, if you're not aware, then you're running on autopilot. And of course, so much of what we do is run on autopilot. It is the subconscious. But if you can raise your level of consciousness, raise your level of awareness, then you can catch yourself. And, it's things like self-sabotage, procrastination, getting distracted. I was talking to a business owner yesterday, and his business partner is doing things in their business that she shouldn't be doing. And he's going, hey, look, please don't do that. Like, let's get a VA to do it, or let's get one of the staff to do it, but you shouldn't be doing it. Now, she loves doing it and she enjoys doing it, but it's like, you need to raise that consciousness and go, well, but hold on a second. If I could be over here doing this, it would be far better for the business. It would be far better for my family. It would be far better for our clients. So it's about having that consciousness. So I'm only going to pick two. So I'm being pretty tough on myself here. So that's the first one, consciousness. And then the second one would be responsibility. I think we live in a world today where people want to blame. They want to say it's the government, it's this, it's that, it's the other thing. And as soon as we do that, we give our power away. And as a business owner, you can't give your power away. You've got to remember, you're the captain of your ship. Now, obviously, there's other people that come to your ship. You've got to pay attention to what clients, what customers want. But you can say no. to customers. Like, you don't have to take everyone on as a customer. I mean, I think that's, the old saying, the customer is always right. Well, no, and if you get, say you've got 100 clients that come through your door in a month, and a dozen of them are saying we don't like X, then you need to go, okay, well, am I willing to lose those 12 clients? Do I need to change X? So I'm not saying ignore everything that a customer says, because believe me, I listen very carefully to what my customers say, but it's also about being okay to turn people away. So responsibility and going, I'm responsible. Now, obviously, the truth is, as a coach, you can, let me be blatantly obvious about the coaching industry. A lot of the coaching trainers will tell you as a coach, if your client doesn't get a result, it's their fault, they haven't done the work. Now, that's not true. The truth is that a coach and a client have a relationship. They both have a responsibility to work together to get the best result for that client. And I think the view that it's all my fault when someone else is involved is it's very powerful for you, because it says, what can I do about it? But also, if you've done everything that you can, if you've done everything reasonable that you can, if you have, given that client multiple ways to solve a problem, you've gone over and above what you've promised, and they're not taking action, they're not doing it, then you kind of go, well, there is a point where responsibility stops, but responsibility needs to be so much higher in our society, and as business owners as well.
Absolutely, Andrew. And all of those points that you're making here all come back to your very first point of call, which is having the right vision and being really clear about exactly what that looks, smells and tastes like, and then just lining all of the ducks up in a row. And let me ask you, because most of the people that are going to be listening to this recording will be business owners and will be entrepreneurs. And a large portion of them will be coaches looking for exponential growth in their business.
Yeah.
Do you have, amongst all the clients that you work with and coach, do you have maybe a top 3 tips that really help people kick big goals in their business that perhaps other coaches might not be clued into?
Yeah. So top 3 tips that other people wouldn't be clued into, would likely not be aware of. So I guess one of the big ones that we use, I don't see anybody talking about this. I tell my clients this, and it is very, very powerful, is this. You've got to combine your offline efforts with your online efforts. So if you're only marketing online, as much as, we have chat software on our website, we have Google Analytics, I review the Google Analytics, we watch our data, we know our numbers. However, if you're not talking to people one-on-one as well, you're missing huge amounts of data, screeds and screeds and screeds of data. And so I think that, one of my number 1 tips, because I know there's a lot, and I fell into this trap, like when I first started coaching, when my original business mentor retired, so he retired and moved to Bali and surfed every day, and I kind of went, right, let's launch our business, let's crack into this coaching business, running it by ourselves. And we just went, right, we're going to market online, because obviously backgrounds in websites, we can put up websites and webinars and all sorts of things really, really easily. And it wasn't like we got traction, but there were things missing, and it was like, a little bit like a broken car, kind of like, it's sort of working, but not really. And when things really came together for us was when we put both together, was when we said, right, we're going to sell things, to the mass audience, as well as one-on-one and in person, sometimes as well, because there's a lot that you can pick up. Obviously you can pick up tonality and those sorts of things, and obviously if you're on Skype, you can see people, but when you're in front of someone, you really get a feel for their energy. If you're standing in front of, 12, 20, 30 business owners and you're presenting something to them, then you can kind of go, okay, cool. A good example of that was I had an offer that I was doing, and it was a story tied to an offer, because that's a good way of doing things. So I'm telling the story, and then I'm going into the offer, and I'm kind of looking around the table, and it's like the 80–90% of the people are not interested at all. And I'm going, oh, this is not resonating with them. Why is this not resonating with them? And I didn't get a feel for it in the actual session, but afterwards I meditated on it for a while, and I realized, what it was that almost none of those people had kids. So it was a story about spending more time with your kids, in this case, actually by creating leverage. And of course, it didn't resonate because none of them had kids. Now, if I talked about spending more time surfing or with their partners or tying into, wine trips or, whatever it was, the things that they like to do, that I know they like to do, then it would have had far more of that grab factor, because the people who were interested were the ones that do have kids, and the people that weren't were the ones that didn't have kids. Now, obviously, it's obvious once you review it, but when you're, putting a video on YouTube, you don't know that. Like you can get some demographic data, but you can't get that kind of detail. So, but it's been hugely powerful for us. And when I see digital funnels that are falling down, it's when they're not backed by that one-on-one sales as well. So that would be the first one. The second one, building some funnels and making sure that you've got multiple funnels, because again, a lot of the coaches that I know, they want exponential growth, but you talk to them and they're like, well, I've got this one thing that works, like I go to networking groups, or I cold call, or I go and visit businesses, like whatever their strategy is, they have one strategy. So having multiple strategies, and when you're doing that, making sure that you get one working. So it's not about going, oh, I'm going to launch 6 strategies at once. It's about going, right, I'm going to set up one, I'm going to refine it, I'm going to get it working, and then I'm going to add, another one.
Sure, well, that's leverage, isn't it, Andrew?
Yeah.
That's your leverage.
Yeah, exactly. That's your leverage. And then
jump in, Andrew,
sure.
and I'll ask you one thing before you go. You mentioned funnels, and I know that's one area where a lot of people get confused. Would you like to maybe broaden that aspect, like in simple, short words, what would be the complete description of a funnel?
Absolutely.
For a lot of our viewers today?
I think part of the reason that the word funnel freaks people out, they kind of go, funnel, what is that? If you think about it, it like literally is like a funnel. And at the top, there's loads of people, and at the bottom, there's some people that are coming out the bottom of the funnel, like water going down the funnel. And essentially, what you're aiming to do is you're aiming to move someone from just knowing about you or being aware of you to going, oh, wow, what they've got to offer is really interesting. Maybe I should think about that, to actually really desiring what you want, to becoming a client. So when we talk about a sales funnel, it's about taking someone from being potentially cold to being a client. So that's my kind of definition of a sales funnel. Now, where it gets confusing for people is that could look like many, many things. But we're running in a launch right now, so we've got a massive sales funnel set up for our launch. So I can give you some specific examples from that, so that you guys can get an idea, and the coaches can get an idea of what that looks like. So we have a sales page. So profitspyramid.com, that's our sales page. And we can send people directly to that sales page. Now, that would be a very short funnel, right? So that would just be kind of like, I'll post something on LinkedIn that says, hey, Kim and I are launching Profits Pyramid Live. Come and join us at this live event, and then link to the event, right? If I just had that LinkedIn post, it's kind of like a short, narrow funnel. If I then said, right, well, I'm going to do it on Twitter and Google Plus, and I'm going to email my database, and I'm going to, talk to a bunch more people, then that's kind of making it wider. So that's good. We're getting more exposure. But it's also, our event, the full price for the tickets is $1,000. The early bird is half that, so it's $497. And it's 3 days, right? So it's a 3-day event, and it's $497. Now, that's not expensive for a 3-day event.
Not at all.
And yeah, it's great value. But still, it's 3 days, $500. It's not like, hey, have a coffee or have a chocolate bar. It is more something where someone's going to have to go, okay, let me think about this. Do I want to invest in this or not? Now, if we just keep that short funnel, what happens is that people go, oh, that's interesting, but maybe now's not the right time, or they close it and they don't come back. Now, what we want to do is we want to make a longer funnel. So we want to do other things. So some of the things we're doing is we've got articles. So we have an article that teaches people something. It might tell a story. It might, it might teach them how to get publicity on media. It might teach them about the benefits of business networking. And then at the bottom, there might be a very obvious ad. There might be actually inserted in the article. So the article might talk about profits pyramid in the process of the article, and then the article continues. Or there might be an ad on the side of the article. And so then what you do is you have multiple articles. So now what we're doing is we're starting to build the funnel a bit taller, because we're going, oh, well, actually at the top, we've got these articles, and then the articles go to Profits Pyramid, and then we can share those articles. And like we have SEO, so we have people that come in regularly to our website off Google and Bing and that sort of stuff. And so now we're building the funnel a bit taller. What else we can do is we can go, oh, well, let's do some videos. So we could do some Facebook Live videos. We can have videos on YouTube. We can have a video like this that then lead into the event. We could run webinars. One of the other things you could do is you could have a free report. So you could have a free report. The free report could have 5 or 7 emails. So they get the free report, then they have a series of emails that make sure they get the value from the report, because a lot of us kind of, we opt in for the free report and then it sits on our hard drive. And we go, oh yeah, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. and so we give them the free report, but then we also send them some emails to make sure that we deliver the value that we promised from the free report. But those emails can also talk about the Profits Pyramid Live event. And so then you're making it even wider still, because it's like, oh, well, they're getting 3 or 4 or 5 email messages over time. And it may be that you don't sell up front. So it's like, oh, now I'm delivering value, I'm proving my expertise, I'm proving my experience. And, oh, wow, I'm running an event. Oh, well, okay, yeah, look, I'm interested. I'll go and have a look at that event. And, oh, he's reminding me about the event. Oh, the early bird's finishing. Oh, well, I better actually grab my ticket. And so if you look at a properly built sales funnel, that's what it looks like, depending on your product or service.
Yeah.
And this is why sales funnels are confusing. So what you've got to ask is, what am I selling? What's the price point? How active is my community? How easily can I sell to them? How many people can I reach? Yeah. And so, for an event like this, where we can sort of have about 70 odd people in the room, we need to make sure that we're reaching, thousands of people to get those 70 people in the room, and in such a way that it's not just like, hey, come to my 3-day event. Because for someone who doesn't know me,
Andy, that's a really great question. Thank you for raising that. So, Andrew, we're back to point number 3. So
point number 3. Oh, yeah. So we were, let's see. Well, some people talk about it, but some people don't. But it's one that I see a lot of people putting off when it's a real power strategy. It was one of the first, I've actually already talked about it. It was one of the first strategies we used when we started in business, which is partnering with people. So rather than just trying to do it by yourself, finding people that you can work alongside. Now, obviously, you want to make sure you choose those partners carefully. We've all worked with people that we go, oh no, that wasn't good, and so you want to do some vetting, some testing, some looking into, wait a minute, do I want to work with this person or not? So obviously be careful about who you partner with. But when we started Amazing Business, we had a copywriter in Australia that, that our mentor recommended, that we knew people who had been to him and had got great results. And so we could license his product and we could sell it. So rather than us going, which is what most coaches, consultants do, is they go, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to create the most amazing course ever. And often it is the most amazing course ever. But then they sort of do a half-hearted job of marketing and selling it, and then they go, oh, that didn't work. What that let us do in our business was we took Alexi's product, we started selling his product immediately. So we could just turn around and go, right, we're now selling a product as Amazing Business. It's called Advertising Secrets. We sold that for years. And so, and with Brendan, so our original mentor, what we did with him was we started promoting his events. So again, rather than going, because I knew I wanted to be a speaker, I am a natural speaker, but at that point I was like, oh no, I don't really have the experience. I haven't really practiced, and so I wasn't about to go and start speaking. I'll promote Brendan's event, have a relationship with him where he's either getting the clients off the back end of it, or he's paying me affiliate referral fees, that sort of thing. And so partnering can be done incredibly intelligently. It can give you leverage. That's what Advertising Secrets did for us. It gave us a product that we could sell immediately, because And I mean, this is kind of, I guess, a fourth tip for coaches. Well, this is a fourth tip for any business owner. Do everything you can to not tie the money you make to the hours you work. Because when the money you make is tied to the hours you work, you've instantly got a cap. Now, if I charge $1,000 an hour, people will be like, oh my goodness, that's so much. And, over the course of a year, that's about $1 million a year. But even still, there is a limit.
Yeah.
There is a limit to what you can make. Now, for me, I like leverage. I like the freedom. I like to go to swing sports with my kids. I love going to the run-a-thon and the athletics day and all those things. And I can't do that if I don't create space and the leverage where I can go, yeah, I don't need to be in the office working. Our income is not tied to that.
Yes, yeah, very, very good point. And ultimately, that's why we're doing what we're doing, is it not? And it is very much the era for the entrepreneur, and that's the exciting part about it. Excited about what you said, Andrew. You've given us so many very, very cool tips and tricks. I'm looking forward to going back over it and really grabbing out of it the information you've given in terms of to learn from it, as opposed to pick more questions out of you.
I didn't really come planned. I had a little bit of a list of stuff that I could refer to. I haven't even opened it. So, yeah, it was in the flow with what was needed for the moment.
Absolutely. So in saying that, Andrew, I'd love to give you the space, to give you a few minutes to share with the community and the listeners your upcoming event and how you can be found in terms of coaching services for anyone that who wouldn't love to hear and learn from you.
The website is really easy. It's amazingbusiness.com. The website's just been redone, so it looks really, really nice. So go and go and check it out. Like that front page. That homepage is getting lots of likes. It's not our most liked page yet though, so we need to get that up. So go and hit the page and like it. Obviously, we're under Amazing Business on Facebook as well. So my wife Kim works in the business. She's more of the inner game specialist. So she works on energy alignment, your beliefs, your habits, all those sorts of things. And I'm the outer game. So I'm the strategies. I'm like, what are you actually going to do? Because although I know people that sit in a cave and meditate for, 2 weeks to make $300, meditating for 2 weeks to make $300 actually sounds like, meditation is fun, but I kind of go, for the input, that's a lot of input for the output that you've got. And so what we love to do is put those two together. So to say, hey, look, you need that inner game. It's crucial to make your life about ease, abundance, and flow, but you also need the outer game. What are you going to do? Like, how are you going to create this? How are you going to make it happen? And that's obviously what I handle. The 3-day event that we're running, that's both Kim and I, so it's not multi-speaker, multi-pitch event or anything like that. It's pure value. So it's actually a program that we have been selling for $3,000 called the Profits Pyramid System, which is our coaching system. So it's the exact coaching system that we use, 5-level pyramid with which essentially each layer builds on the last. And so if you don't have all the layers in your business, then you have gaps. Like if you don't have this layer, there's going to be no leverage. You can, there's other layers where if they're missing, you can actually be bringing lots of business in the door, but you can actually be going backwards. And equally, you can be, burning your advertising dollars. All sorts of fun things can be going on if you don't get that right. So that's the system that we're teaching at the event. So it's the full system. There's no, we're not holding anything back. There's no sort of like, oh, you've got to buy the $3,000 upgrade. It's the whole system. As I mentioned already, the full price tickets are $997, but the early bird are $497. And obviously for the EGU community, we'll do a promo code so that your members get $100 off the ticket price. So it'll be just $397.
Amazing. And where's the event and when are the dates?
So the dates are the 26th, 27th, and 28th of August. Right here in Auckland, so just a little bit over, it's a little bit under a month now. So it was a month yesterday at Waipuna, which is right in Mount Wellington, so it's super central. We've got some people coming in from outside of Auckland, so it's easy to get to from the airport. There's accommodation there as well. We've got a special rate, so if you were going to book in from overseas, we can sort you out a special rate. And 3 days, 8:30 till 5 p.m. So it won't be a Tony Robbins until midnight. You will get some relax, some balance. Because we want to give you that space to be able to actually create your amazing business, which is what we're going to show you how to do in the 3 days.
That's magic. And is there any accreditation within that?
No, but that is something that is in the works for the long term. And in fact, yeah, look, I will actually consider that. So obviously we've got a workbook and all those sorts of things, so we could absolutely do an accreditation program that goes alongside it. So yeah, great question, definitely.
Andrew,
it does.
Thank you. Let's find out where Andy can be reached.
Thanks, Michelle, and thanks, Andrew. That was like an awesome interview. Well, I basically run a business called Scruffy Dog Studio, and it's a digital design and media studio. We also do web, like Andrew did earlier on, but we do a whole lot of other stuff, so branding, apps. I also run a little group called the Dreamers Collective, and it's for people who like to dream, not so much a salesy group. So basically, you can find me on scruffydogstudio.com.au or at the Dreamers Collective or at EDU, or just pop me a little message and I always get back to you no matter where you are. And
thank you very much, Andy.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to say to everyone that's joined or will listen to us and hear from us, we are at a Facebook community group, Entrepreneurs Globally Unite. We're the home for spiritual entrepreneurs. We are collective consciousness, and working together we can achieve so much more. So you can find me personally, Michelle Reinhardt, at $1,000,000mindset.com. I'm about to launch one of my first live workshops towards the end of the I know. I'm very excited about that. And working on a Global Awakening Summit, which will be released for mid-October. So that's something well and truly to keep your eyes open for. It will be great. We're going to have 50 speakers over 10 days. So that will be amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So that being said, I'd like to just bid Andrew and Andy farewell. Have an awesome day. And to all of everyone tuning in, be amazing, shine bright. That's what you're here to do. Andrew and Andy will see you in our community.
Sounds awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your time, Andrew. And bye, Andy.
See you guys.
Yeah.